There's a new meta for growing your coaching business that's even forcing top creators to make secondary accounts in order to sell their services or products. In this video, I'm going to break down why they are doing this, what you need to focus on as a coach to grow your business, and why going viral is potentially the worst goal you can have with your content strategy. So let's dive right into it. If you follow any top creator in the online business space, you will notice that they have created multiple accounts depending on the content that they want to make. The reason they do this is because of the evolution with all social media platforms with how they show you content. Because back in my day, God, I feel old saying that, but back in my day, you were predominantly shown content from the people that you follow or that you subscribe to. So when this was the case, it was quite a simple equation. More followers equals more eyeballs on your products or services, which equals more sales. The problem with this strategy today is that the algorithm has got so good at knowing what audience to show your content to that it almost makes it redundant the amount of followers that you have. Because let's say you're an online coach, how many one-to-one clients could you realistically or want to work with? Is it 20, 30, 50? Maybe even 100 if you want to be Mr. Big Time. Which means if you had a page with 2,000 followers, you would only need 1% of that audience to convert in order to get 20 clients. Is that not absolutely mental? Okay, but with that logic, Joe, wouldn't having more followers mean more clients? Now, in theory, yes. But here's where coaches are often misled. Let's paint a scenario with two coaches creating content for 1 year straight and they want to help shift workers drop body fat. Coach A, on the whole, creates content speaking to their audience in most videos, ensuring they don't lose sight of this, and amasses 1,227 followers after 1 year of posting. Coach B, on the other hand, creates content speaking to loads of different audiences, desperate to just chase more views and more followers. So they start to jump on weird trends that have nothing to do with their services and attract viewers who aren't even shift workers. After 1 year of posting, they managed to get 12,000 followers. From the outside looking in, it would be easy to think that Coach B would automatically be the more successful one, but this couldn't be further from the truth. You see, whilst Coach A has been slowly growing a following of his target audience, Coach B has just done anything to get anyone in the room. So when they both go to sell their services, Coach A has a room full of people that mostly are interested in what they have to offer, so selling just becomes a much smoother process. Whilst Coach B has a room full of people that, quite frankly, don't really give a shit about what coaching services he sells. They just followed him because he posted a meme about white monsters that made them laugh, and selling becomes even harder work. And to add to that misery, when Coach B realizes his mistakes and tries to make content like Coach A, the algorithm is confused as fuck to who to push the content to, and they end up just getting such poor engagement, they just want to quit the entire process and stop making content altogether. So although having the strategy of Coach A is certainly a long game and certainly not as sexy as Coach B's approach, if you have the patience to stick it out, you will not just build an audience, you will build a real relationship with a fan base that are queuing at the door just to work with you. This is the exact way in which I built my editing business, as I would always make content directed specifically at online coaches like you watching. While seeing other creators in my niche create content that gets more views, likes, engagement, they were just creating content that attracts other videographers and editors, aka people that will never really work with them. Instead of this, I always remained focused on targeting my content at online coaches, where I steadily built my business to over $12,000 a month. Now, this is probably the point where I meant to flash on screen some Stripe screenshots so that you believe me, but with how easily these can be fake nowadays, feel free to just scan through my Instagram over the years and see the amount of results that I got, and probably just take my word for it. Now, be warned, this strategy is a game of patience and trusting the process, but it's one well worth it if you can avoid being emotional with your decision making. And you will need to limit how much you compare your progress to others that you see online. So now you've understood the reason behind the quality of your audience far outweighing the size of it, should you do the same as these big creators and create a new account altogether? Well, here's my take working with coaches who have actually tried and tested this themselves. Overall, if you feel like your account is dead or even misaligned to what you want to create now, I would suggest just to start a new one. The reason I I say this is because if you don't, every time you go to post on your current account and it doesn't perform as you would hope, you're naturally gonna blame and wonder if it's because the algorithm doesn't know who to show your content to. So I would start to post on a secondary account whilst keeping your main account active. You could then mention to your current followers on your primary account that you have decided to create a new Instagram account for X, Y, and Z reason. If they are an engaged follower, they will show this by hitting follow on your new account. Just bear in mind that you will need to give people time to move over to this new account, and you'll need to mention it multiple times over a prolonged period, as you cannot presume you'll post about it once and everyone will see it and then actually take action. Once you've done this for that prolonged period of time, you will then be able to assess both accounts and make a more accurate decision. Now, the second account might have a lower follower count, but the quality of audience is a much higher percentage. This means in the long run, provided you start to make the right content, the algorithm will start to show your content to the right audiences and thus allow you to grow your account to build your business in a consistent and manageable way. Now, the next stage coaches get stuck is knowing what type and styles of content they should be making to grow their business. So I'd recommend watching this video next on where I cover all of the different formats so that you can always be sure on what content you can create as an online coach.